Welcome to IT Playground Podcast, where technology meets innovation. Join us as we explore the latest trends, insights, and expert opinions on all things IT. Today, you shared an article from Tech in Africa, and it's got me really intrigued. We're diving deep into a major partnership. Airtel Africa hooking up with SpaceX to bring Starlink's satellite internet to 14 markets across the continent. It sounds like a game changer, so our mission is to cut through the noise and really understand what this means.
Absolutely. And it's more than just, another tech announcement. This partnership has the potential to genuinely reshape connectivity. We're talking Airtel Africa, a huge telco presence, teaming up with SpaceX's Starlink. But yeah, let's get beyond the headline. The really interesting part is the why and the how this could actually bridge that digital divide we always talk about, especially given Africa's, diverse infrastructure landscape.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Airtel Africa, massive footprint, operates across loads of countries, and SpaceX, rockets, but now also this huge Starlink satellite internet thing. So what's the core idea? Why these two together?
Well, think of it as local muscle meets global tech. Airtel brings that deep, on-the-ground knowledge. They know the customers, the challenges, the specific needs in those 14 markets. SpaceX, with Starlink, offers a solution, a powerful one for a really tough problem, reaching places where traditional internet infrastructure just isn't practical or, frankly, affordable to build.
So laying fiber or putting up mobile towers. It's just too difficult or expensive in many of these areas.
Exactly. You've got vast distances, tricky geography. Sometimes the economics just don't stack up for traditional methods. Starlink kind of sidesteps all that. It uses this constellation of literally thousands of satellites whizzing around in low Earth orbit LEO. It's a whole different way of thinking about connectivity.
Right, LEO satellites. We hear that term a lot. Why is that better for the user? What makes it different from, say, older satellite internet systems?
Yeah, good question. The key is low Earth orbit. Older satellites are way further out, geostationary orbit, they call it. That huge distance, it creates lag, latency, that delay you get makes video calls choppy, online gaming impossible, even just browsing feels sluggish.
Oh, okay.
LEO satellites are much, much closer, so the time it takes data to go up and back down is slashed dramatically. It's like shouting across a room versus shouting across a canyon. Much faster response.
That makes intuitive sense. So that lower latency is key for making it feel like, normal broadband.
Pretty much. It makes video calls, online learning, remote work, all those things that need real-time interaction actually feasible and, not frustrating.
Okay. So Airtel isn't building satellites. They're basically leveraging Starlink's existing network. How does that actually work on the ground for, a customer?
Right. The article doesn't spell out every detail, but you can infer the likely setup. Airtel would probably handle the local side of things, sales, installation, customer support. They know the local regulations, payment methods, all that. They'd likely offer Starlink as maybe a premium option or specifically target areas where their own fiber or mobile broadband doesn't reach well.
So you might get an Airtel powered by Starlink kind of package.
Something like that, potentially. Airtel acts as the interface, the local provider, but the signal's coming from Starlink satellites.
Interesting. It's like the space connection gets localized. And we got this quote here from Sunil Teldar, the Airtel Africa CEO. He talks about reliable and affordable voice and data connectivity, even in the most remote parts of Africa. The word affordable jumps out. That's going to be critical, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely critical. The tech is one thing, but if people can't afford the dish, the terminal, and the monthly subscription, then it doesn't actually bridge the divide. Starlink's pricing has been, a discussion point globally. Making it work economically in these diverse African markets is probably the biggest challenge for this partnership's success.
Yeah, that's the real test. And talking about making it work, the article says they've already got operating licenses in 9 of the 14 markets. The other 5 are in progress. That sounds like pretty good headway, right? Overcoming regulatory hurdles.
It is significant headway. Definitely. It shows commitment, and it shows that many governments are open to these new technologies, but it also underlines just how complex it is operating across so many different countries, each with its own telecom laws and requirements. Getting those remaining 5 approvals won't necessarily be automatic. There's still work to do there.
Right. It's never just plug and play across borders.
Yeah.
So, assuming this rolls out more widely, what could this actually do? The article mentions education, healthcare. What's the potential impact in, say, education?
Think about a school in a remote village. Suddenly, reliable internet. That could mean access to, everything online. Educational resources, maybe virtual teaching, connecting with other schools. It could fundamentally change the quality of education available. But, and it's an important but, you also need the devices, computers, tablets, and the digital skills to actually use the connection effectively.
That's a really good point. The connection is just the pipe. You need the taps and the know-how to get the water.
Exactly. It's an ecosystem thing.
And healthcare. Telemedicine seems like the obvious application.
Huge potential there. Imagine a clinic nurse connecting with a specialist miles away for a consultation, sharing diagnostic info in real time. It could save lives, improve diagnoses, especially where doctors are scarce. Then there's agriculture farmers getting access to market prices, weather forecasts, maybe digital banking, and for small businesses, e-commerce. Suddenly, your market isn't just the local village, it's potentially regional or even global. It really could unlock entrepreneurial potential.
It keeps coming back to enabling participation, doesn't it? Getting previously excluded communities into the digital economy.
That's the core promise, yes. And it aligns with Airtel's stated goals around digital inclusion and, broader economic development.
Now, the article also gives some context, mentioning other things happening with satellite internet in Africa, like Somalia granting Starlink a license.
Right, and Kenya looking at its regulations, it shows this isn't happening in a vacuum. There's a broader trend, a growing interest across the continent in satellite solutions.
But like you said, not always straightforward. Namibia ordering Starlink to stop operations because of licensing.
Exactly. That highlights the regulatory friction. Companies need to tick all the boxes, and governments need frameworks to manage these new services. It's a learning curve on both sides, I think.
And then there's Nigeria. Starlink apparently becoming the second largest internet provider there, overtaking Fiber One.
Yeah.
That's fast.
It really is. It speaks volumes about the demand. Clearly, people in Nigeria, or at least a significant number, are finding Starlinks offering compelling, maybe filling gaps left by existing providers, even if it costs more in some cases.
Wow. Shows the market pull. And the final point was Starlink rowing back on a price hike in Nigeria after some directive.
Yeah, that brings us right back to that affordability and access question. It shows that there's this ongoing negotiation, this interplay between the provider, the market, the regulators. All these examples paint a picture of a really dynamic space, lots of opportunity, but also definite hurdles and adjustments along the way.
So wrapping this part up, this deep dive into the Airtel Africa and SpaceX partnership, it really does feel like a potentially pivotal moment. You've got the established player meeting the cutting edge tech. It genuinely looks like a promising way to tackle that digital divide and maybe unlock all sorts of opportunities we've just talked about.
Absolutely. And the scale of that potential impact is what's truly fascinating. Thinking about the individuals, the small businesses, the communities in places that have been on the margins of connectivity, it really makes you, the listener, wonder, doesn't it? How might this actually change daily life? What new ideas, what businesses, what innovations might bubble up when reliable internet suddenly becomes available in these places? What happens next?
Thanks for tuning in to IT Playground Podcast. Join us next time for more tech talk, insights, and innovation. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more.